I thought my boyfriend was in Boston for a conference. Turns out, he was 3 miles away, in a hotel with my best friend. I only found out because he accidentally left his smartwatch at home, and I watched her name pop up over and over again. I confronted them both in the lobby of that hotel, still wearing my pajama pants. You won't believe what she said when she saw me. That night, I was heartbroken. But what I did next, I exposed them both publicly, brutally, and loud. I still can't believe I'm writing this. I've rewritten it 3 times, and every version sounds too insane to be real, like I'm living in some cheap Netflix thriller with bad lighting and worse dialogue. But here we are. It started like a totally normal Thursday. I'd made his favorite breakfast scrambled eggs with avocado and a side of way too crispy bacon, and packed his carry-on, because of course I did. That's what girlfriends do, right? Especially for someone you've been with for 3 years, someone you've lived with for 2, someone who said maybe next spring when I asked about getting engaged. He said he had a last-minute business trip in Boston 2 nights, some networking event with finance bros and too many overpriced cocktails. I even helped pick his outfit. Charcoal gray suit, no tie, cologne I actually liked. He left around noon, kissed me goodbye, and told me to keep the bed warm. Gross but cute. I rolled my eyes. Then I went back inside, flopped on the couch, and opened TikTok. Just a totally normal Thursday. Until 3:47 p.m., I was doing laundry when I noticed his smartwatch sitting on the bathroom counter. I almost didn't check it, but the screen kept lighting up. At first, I assumed it was work stuff, but then I saw a name I hadn't seen in months. Marissa. And not just once. I'm talking back-to-back-to-back messages. Miss you already. Don't forget the wine. Room 204. My stomach dropped. Cold, ugly adrenaline started climbing up my throat. Here's the worst part. Marissa wasn't just some random girl. She was my best friend. Or at least, she used to be. We'd had a falling out a few months back over something dumb. I honestly thought it was just one of those friendship breaks. Not this. I stared at the screen, frozen. Then the phone buzzed again. ETA? What the hell? I didn't think. I just moved, threw on a hoodie, grabbed my keys, and left the house in my pajama pants and Crocs. My hair was still wet from the shower. I didn't even lock the door. I was driving like my life depended on it, heart pounding, brain racing. He said he was flying to Boston, but I know our town. And I know that there's only one hotel, with rooms that start in the 200s, the kind of place couples go when they want to feel expensive for a night. I drove straight there, parked behind a delivery van, and sat in my car for a second, just breathing. Then I saw them through the glass doors, and what I saw flipped something inside me I didn't even know existed. There they were. Through the hotel lobby's glass doors, I could see him, my boyfriend, standing at the check-in desk, laughing at something on Marissa's phone. She was leaning into him like she owned him, like I didn't exist. And the wildest part, she was wearing my lipstick. The exact shade I had to hunt down at 3 different Sephoras last month because she said it looked so good on me. They didn't see me, not yet. I stood there outside, heart jackhammering, watching the man I had lived with, dreamed with, built Pinterest wedding boards for, act like I was a distant memory, like I was invisible. I should have turned around. I should have gone home, packed his things, and ghosted the both of them into oblivion. But I didn't. I walked straight through those doors, wearing a college hoodie, pajama pants with little cartoon eggs on them, and the ugliest Crocs known to mankind. 0 makeup, frizzy hair, no filter, no armor. And they turned. Oh, they turned. Marissa's jaw dropped. She went pale like she'd just seen a ghost crawl out of the elevator shaft. His face? Pure panic. Hey babe, I said, voice steady somehow. Boston's looking a lot like Route 17. Neither of them said a word. Not right away. It was like watching 2 deer freeze in the middle of a highway, and I was the damn headlights. What are you doing here? He finally asked, voice cracking. I lifted the smartwatch I'd grabbed from the passenger seat. It buzzed again in my hand, a fresh text from Marissa lighting up the screen. Don't forget the massage oil. I brought the good kind. I held it out toward him, like Exhibit A in a courtroom. You forgot something, I said. Still no words from Marissa, but her lips were twitching, trying to form something that wasn't pure guilt. She finally said, look, this isn't what it looks like. I actually laughed. Loud. Ugly. The kind of laugh that fills the silence in a horror movie right before someone snaps. Oh, really? I asked. Because what it looks like is my boyfriend fake booked a trip, lied about being out of town, and checked into a hotel 3 miles from our apartment with my best friend who ghosted me 6 months ago. She blinked. I didn't ghost you. You stopped texting back. I wanted to scream. He tried to grab my arm. Can we talk about this somewhere else? Not here. I yanked my arm away. No, I think here is perfect. You wanted a fantasy weekend? Surprise! You just got a real one. People were starting to stare. The hotel manager shifted uncomfortably behind the desk. A couple sitting on a lobby couch watched like it was a Netflix drama happening live. I looked at her again. At Marissa. And that's when she said the line that snapped the last nerve I had left. I mean, you guys were kinda on a break, weren't you? No, we were not. I took one step closer to her, close enough to see the smudge of my lipstick on her front teeth. You wanna know the craziest part of this? I said, my voice shaking now, because rage was giving way to something worse, grief. You could have had him. If you'd just told me. If you'd been honest. But you both decided to lie. To sneak around. To humiliate me. And for what? He stepped in, guilt all over his face, stammering. It just happened. But I was already turning. I didn't want to hear another lie. Not from him. Not from her. So I walked out. Past the lobby. Past the fake smiles. Out into the daylight. Where everything hurt less because at least the light was honest. But as I reached my car, I saw a notification on my phone. A text from his mom. Hey sweetie, are you okay? I didn't know Marissa was going on the trip too. Wait, what? So his mom knew? Knew about the trip? And knew Marissa was involved? I swear, my brain glitched. Like, was I the only person in the entire universe who didn't know my boyfriend was cheating? Was everyone else just casually playing along while I meal prepped and folded his stupid socks and planned date nights to reconnect? I sat in the driver's seat, slammed the door shut, and just breathed. You know that kind of shaking inhale where your ribs feel like they're cracking from the inside? That. The hotel was still behind me. My heart was still in pieces. But my hands? They were typing. Me. Hey, what do you mean? Did he tell you Marissa was going on the trip? His mom? Yeah, he mentioned it yesterday. Said they were both attending some investor dinner in Boston. I figured it was a group thing. I'm sorry, are you two okay? Group thing. Right, no. We were not okay. I didn't answer her. I couldn't. Not without screaming. I tossed my phone into the passenger seat and just sat staring at the dash. At the little sticker on my windshield from our last oil change. February 18th, the day he bought me tulips and said, "You're my always." Apparently I was his always until Marissa texted him a bikini selfie. And it gets worse. Because as I was sitting there, trying not to cry in a Holiday Inn Express parking lot, my phone lit up again. Different number. No name. Marissa. I'd blocked her ages ago during our falling out, but I guess she got a new number. Can we talk, please? I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Oh, girl. You didn't mean to sneak around with my boyfriend? Stay at a hotel 3 miles from our apartment? Use my lipstick? Sure. Let's totally talk. Except, instead of replying, I opened my photo app and started scrolling. There it was. A picture from 6 months ago. A group brunch. Me, him, Marissa, and our mutual friends. We're all smiling, mimosas in hand, brunch vibes at peak strength. In the background, barely visible, was his hand resting on her thigh under the table. I zoomed in and stared. I hadn't seen it before. Hadn't noticed. Because who would? Who assumes the guy they love is playing footsie with their best friend in a room full of people? I felt so stupid. And worse played. Because suddenly, everything looked different. Every canceled date. Every late night at the office. Every time she popped back up with a vague, been so busy, lol excuse. I'd been lied to with a smile. And the next morning, I'd find out it went even deeper. Because someone else was about to get involved. Someone I hadn't spoken to in years. Someone I thought was out of the picture. My ex. He slid into my DMs the next morning. With proof that this wasn't the first time they'd done this. The next morning, I woke up to a DM that made me sit up so fast, I smacked my knee on the nightstand. Tyler, hey, weird question, but is your friend Marissa still in your life? I saw something on IG and thought I should warn you. Tyler, my ex, from forever ago. We dated in college. It ended amicably. We drifted, he moved to Austin, and that was that. We hadn't spoken in, 2 years. And now he was in my inbox with a warning about Marissa? I didn't even respond right away. Just clicked into his profile, heart already thudding, and scanned through his stories. Boom. There she was, Marissa, sitting next to a guy who looked a lot like my boyfriend. But it wasn't him. Different guy, same look, same vibe, same type. She was laughing at something, leaning in too close. They were at a winery. The location tagged was an hour away from where she claimed to be visiting family last year. I remember because she'd posted a photo from her parents' backyard the same weekend. I went back to Tyler's DM and finally replied, "Me, she used to be my best friend." "Why?" His response was instant. "Because she did the same thing to me. Hooked up with my roommate while we were dating, played the long game, told me I was paranoid when I got suspicious. Gaslit me so hard I almost apologized to her. I felt sick. So this was a pattern? This wasn't some tragic, accidental moment of passion. This was what she did. He kept going. I only recognized the guy in your photos because my old roommate just posted a wedding announcement. Turns out Marissa tried the same thing with his best man. She moves fast. And messy. It was like the floor dropped out from under me again. So what was I, just the latest in a series of women she'd betrayed? The girl dumb enough to think she'd never do that to me? I suddenly remembered something from last year. A moment I'd brushed off. We were at a party, all of us. She and my boyfriend had gone outside to grab drinks from the cooler. They were gone longer than they should have been. I remember teasing them when they came back in. What'd you do, get lost in the backyard? They laughed. He kissed me on the cheek. And I laughed with them. Like a clown. Now I was angry. Like full-blown adrenaline spiking, my ears are hot, kind of angry. It wasn't just the cheating. It was the performance. The fact that they both looked me in the eye, smiled, hugged me, shared drinks with me while this was happening. And what made it worse, Tyler wasn't done. He sent one final message. You didn't hear this from me, but she's been telling people they're officially together now. Posted a blurry pic of them clinking glasses. Caption said, right person, wrong timing. Now it's right. Now it's right. She was already posting about them? I opened Instagram, and sure enough, there it was. Her story. Champagne flutes. His watch in the corner of the shot. I felt it again, that freezing heat in my chest. Like betrayal and rage were fighting for space inside me. Okay, fine. She wanted him? She could have him. Because I wasn't gonna cry anymore. I wasn't going to beg or confront or scream. I was going to expose them publicly, perfectly. And in the one way neither of them could ignore. The truth? I'd been planning his birthday surprise for weeks. His birthday was in 5 days. We had plans. Well, I had plans. A surprise party at our favorite rooftop bar downtown. I'd booked the space, pre-ordered his favorite cake hazelnut ganache with extra ganache because he's dramatic like that, and invited all our friends, including some of his who I barely tolerated because they've known me since high school, babe. Yeah, those guys. So when I found out he was cheating with Marissa, of all people, my first instinct was to cancel the whole thing. But then, something in me clicked. Why cancel? Why not repurpose? So I made a plan. A very public, very petty, and very satisfying plan. And no, it wasn't revenge. It was clarity. Exposure. The truth wrapped in balloons and streamers. I texted all our friends and told them the party was still on, but there'd been a theme change. Dress code is now black and red. Just trust me. I didn't tell them why. Just enough mystery to get everyone curious, but not enough to blow the lid off early. I even sent out a Canva invite with new graphics. Let's toast to a year of clarity, it said, under a black heart and a shattered glass emoji. The night before the party, I posted a throwback photo of him and me captioned, "So much can change in a year." Marissa viewed it within 5 minutes. Good. Let her sweat. I spent the entire day of the party prepping like it was a wedding. Not for him, for me. I got my hair done. Wore the red dress he once called too loud for dinner with his parents. Paired it with heels I could barely walk in, and a lipstick called Revenge's Rosé. I looked hot. Not in a please love me again way. In a, you'll wish you hadn't messed this up way. When I walked into the venue, the room actually went quiet. That part was unexpected. Even his friends were doing double takes. My bestie Clara mouthed, "OMG, you look unhinged," in the best way, and handed me a martini like we were at the Emmys. Everything was perfect. The string lights, the playlist, the candles. And then he walked in. With her. Oh yes, Marissa came too. They didn't know I'd changed the theme, didn't know I'd sent out an update. She was wearing a pale pink satin dress that practically screamed, "I'm not like the other girls." He looked like he hadn't shaved in days. They both looked smug. Until they realized every person in that room was wearing black and red. Until they saw the projector screen set up by the bar. Until I raised my glass and said, "Before we toast the birthday boy, I just want to share a few memories. Of love, of lies, of smartwatches left behind." And then I hit play. The video started with screenshots. Messages from Marissa on his smartwatch. A slow scroll of texts, each one worse than the last. Then photos him at the hotel. Her and my lipstick. A time lapse of their betrayal. You could hear a pin drop. His face turned red. Hers? White. They didn't move. No one said a word. Until Clara whispered, just loud enough for them to hear, "Damn, she really said receipts." And I just smiled, raised my glass again and said, "Cheers to finding out exactly who people are before you waste another year." Then I walked out, head high, dress flowing, heart shattered, but somehow stronger. I thought that would be the end. But the fallout was just beginning. I thought I'd feel powerful. And for a moment, walking out of that party, with every eye on me and their shocked faces burned into my memory, I did. But the next morning, I woke up in my old childhood bedroom, still in my dress, makeup smudged like war paint, surrounded by half-eaten birthday cake. I took home just to be petty. The high was gone, and all I felt was hollow. Because yeah, I exposed them. I nuked their little secret fantasy world in one night. But then what? 3 years of my life were still gone. The guy, the first thought I might marry, was now someone I couldn't even stand to hear breathing. And my best friend? The girl who once held my hair back when I puked after one too many margaritas? She was a stranger. I hadn't even checked my phone yet. Dread sat in my chest like a brick. I knew it would be full texts, missed calls, probably even guilt-ridden essays from both of them trying to spin things in their favor. But what I didn't expect was the group chat. My core friend group, me, Clara, Jay, Lila, and Marissa, had the same chat since college. We called it the Brunch Coven. It was sacred. And after everything, it was still active. Clara had renamed it the Brunch Coven RIP. Marissa, I almost laughed. Then I opened it. Jay, can we talk about last night? Because I'm still recovering. Lila, I had goosebumps, like actual full-body chills. Clara, sis executed a TED Talk with slides. Honestly iconic. Jay, also. Marissa tried to DM me at 2 a.m., said y'all were never real friends, and that she only ever felt close to me anyway. Lila, she messaged me too, said you manipulated her into keeping it a secret? The audacity. My stomach turned. It hadn't even been 12 hours and she was already trying to rewrite history. Blame shifting. Isolating. Classic damage control. And then, I got her message too. Look, I know you're mad. I know it looks bad. But the truth is, you and he were basically over. You just didn't want to admit it. I loved you. But I love him now. And I'm not going to apologize for following my heart. I didn't respond. I blocked her. Again. And just as I was about to toss my phone onto the floor and crawl under my old blanket, another name lit up the screen. His mom. Again. I hesitated, thumb hovering. Part of me wanted to ignore her. Let her deal with the shame of raising a man who could do this. But she'd always been kind to me. She bought me books for Christmas and actually remembered my birthday when he didn't. So I answered. Her voice was soft, tired. Sweetheart, I am so sorry. I didn't say anything. She went on. I had no idea how bad it was. I thought maybe you two had drifted, but I didn't know there was another woman. And Marissa? I mean, I thought she was your maid of honor if you ever got married. I choked out a humorless laugh. Yeah, so did I. Then she said something I wasn't expecting. You deserve to know. This isn't the first time he's done something like this. My spine straightened. What do you mean? She hesitated. There was a girl before you. A coworker. He never told you. I found out through his old roommate. He begged me not to say anything. Said he'd changed, but he hadn't. He'd just gotten better at hiding it. I felt the sting of it again. Not just the betrayal, but the pattern. The fact that I had been walking blind into a trap he'd set up long before I ever fell in love with him. And suddenly, something shifted. This wasn't just heartbreak anymore. This was a wake-up call. No more fixing broken people. No more loving someone's potential while ignoring the wreckage in front of me. No more choosing someone who never chose me fully. I hung up the phone, pulled out my laptop, booked a solo trip. 4 days. Ocean view. No distractions. And when I posted a photo of me in that red dress, drink in hand, with the caption reclaimed, I didn't tag anyone, but he saw it and replied, "One last time. Can we talk?" I smiled and didn't answer. He wanted to talk. Of course he did. That's what they always want when the mask slips and the audience walks out. When the lies unravel and the girl they took for granted walks away in heels that clack with confidence. He texted 3 more times after that last one. No double texts, either triple text. That level of desperation. Please, just one conversation. You can even yell at me. I deserve it. Yeah, you do. But I'm not giving you the satisfaction. Because here's the truth I've been learning in real time. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing. No closure. No letting him explain. No space to rewrite what happened. I wasn't interested in hearing how he didn't mean to fall for her, or how he wasn't in a good place, or how things were complicated. They weren't. They were clear. He lied. She lied. I hurt. End of story. Well, their story anyway. Mine. Just getting started. The trip I booked? A tiny beach town I found through some girl on TikTok who said it healed her soul after a divorce. It had that dreamy coastal grandma meets, hot girl healing vibe, think linen sheets, ocean air, coffee shops with baristas who remember your name by day 2. I brought one suitcase and a playlist titled, "This is what freedom sounds like." First day there, I walked barefoot on the beach at sunrise, letting the cold sand ground me. I left my phone in the Airbnb and just existed. No scrolling, no checking, no waiting for someone to validate my pain. By sunset, something inside me had softened, not forgotten, not forgiven, but loosened its grip. I stopped replaying the night at the hotel lobby. I stopped wondering what they were doing. I stopped imagining scenarios where he begged and I got to say something perfectly cutting. Instead, I just watched the waves roll in, again and again, steady, unbothered. And the next morning, I did something kind of unhinged. I bought myself a tiny silver ring. Not flashy, just simple and delicate. I slid it onto my middle finger and whispered, "For every version of me you underestimated." Later that night, I posted a photo of it with the caption, "Married to my own healing." I knew he'd see it. I didn't care. But apparently, Marissa saw it too. Because the next morning, my DMs had a new message. Not from a burner account. Not even private. From her real account. "Hope you're enjoying the show. You've always been good at playing the victim." Wow. I couldn't even be mad. Just impressed. The projection? Elite. She followed it up with a second message. "He's not who you think he is. He told me everything. What you did. What I did." Girl, what? That message hit different. Because it wasn't just another petty jab. It was bait. She was trying to rattle me. Get me to explain myself. Or maybe, to uncover something I didn't even know yet. Was he lying to her too? Was this man playing both sides like some low-budget rom-com villain? I screenshotted everything, saved it to my receipts folder. And then, like clockwork, Clara texted me, "You need to see what she just posted on her story." I opened Instagram, and there it was. A photo of them together, him in a hoodie I bought, her smirking in my sunglasses. Caption? "Real love doesn't need approval, just understanding." And in that moment, I understood everything. That photo, her in my sunglasses, him in the hoodie I bought for his birthday last year, the one he said was too soft to wear out, and only wore around the apartment, usually when he wanted something from me. And now she was posting it like a trophy. The caption? "Real love doesn't need approval. Just understanding." Babe, that's not love. That's guilt with good lighting. I stared at it for a solid 5 minutes. Not because it hurt, it did, but because I was genuinely in awe of the delusion. It was like watching someone build a sandcastle during a tsunami and saying, "Trust the process." I could have responded, could have clapped back with screenshots, timelines, the full play-by-play of their betrayal. But I didn't. Why? Because I finally understood. They were each other's karma. Marissa would wake up next to him in 6 months and realize she hadn't won him. She'd inherited a man with a proven track record of lying, cheating, and blaming everyone but himself. And he'd look at her and see every mistake he ever made, staring right back. I didn't need revenge, I had peace. Still, I wasn't about to let their delusions go entirely unchecked. So I made a move. Not a petty one, a smart one. I sent one last message, not to them, but to someone who mattered. His boss. See, what they didn't know was that I still had access to his old Google Drive. And in it, receipts, travel reports, work logs, time-stamped photos from business trips he never actually took, including the Boston one. And guess what? Submitting fake receipts for reimbursed travel is kinda fraudulent. Oops, I didn't say anything directly incriminating, just forwarded the files with a short note. "Hi, just a heads up. I found some inconsistencies in his submitted travel documentation for a trip that didn't happen. Thought you'd want to look into it." Less than an hour later, I got a reply. "Thank you. This is concerning and will be investigated immediately." Checkmate. If they wanted to play house, they could do it without the corporate card. Later that week, Clara sent me a voice note. "Girl, rumor is he might get suspended. Apparently HR called him in this morning. Marissa's Instagram is on radio silence." Oh, darn. But here's the real kicker. That same night, I got a Venmo notification. From him. 3.00. Memo. "For the iced coffee you always ordered with extra whipped cream." I stared at it, blinking, not because I was tempted, but because of the absolute absurdity of it all. Like that 3 was going to undo the lies, the gaslighting, the total violation of trust, like whipped cream had healing powers. I rejected the payment and sent one final message. "You don't get to buy back my forgiveness for the price of a coffee. You had years. Enjoy your real love." Blocked. For good this time. And then I turned off my phone. stepped out onto the balcony of my little beach Airbnb, and let myself cry. Not because I missed him, but because I was proud of me, for walking away, for choosing truth, for not shrinking just because they couldn't handle my shine. And as the waves crashed below, I realized something. This heartbreak? It wasn't the end of me. It was the rebirth. Et maintenant.